Probably
Wait.
know about some of
Wait.
my injuries.
I do know about your.
How many times have I been sawed in half by a medical
Oh my God.
professional?
He had just briefly, because I hate to talk about myself, when we were sitting in church and his like stomach was growing. Like we were at church for Easter Sunday and I was like, hey, I think we better go to the hospital. And we were always referring to this thing that was living in his stomach as baby Trish.
Trish.
And so we were like, ooh, baby Trish is.
Do you know what she's talking about?
Yeah. When you spleen pop.
Well, it was 10 years later when I had my hernia and they had put mesh in my stomach.
Oh yeah.
And the
mesh.
and the pus and blood leaked through the mesh into my outside of it, but under the skin. So I was pregnant.
He was
in church. I literally had a pregnancy, but it was all blood and pus. And they had to jam a long needle into it and pull it out. And
that sounds like it could have been like on a Dr. Pimple Popper company.
It was no. This was one of those.
It really was.
Was it satisfying?
It was so satisfying.
I watched the Blackhead videos. Yeah,
it was so satisfying. They just kept pulling syringe, and he was filming it. He was the original YouTuber.
Yeah. They were just jamming these needles into my stomach and just pulling syringes this deep of just brown blood and pus out of it, dude. And by the way, they did it like 6 times.
Ooh.
You had a lot of really bad. I mean, I think it's been interesting to watch. Obviously both Euphoria and Dope Sick have come out. I don't know if you've seen either.
Yeah.
Dylan said.
Yeah, we talk about it on the show. You keep talking this way.
Those have been really triggering for me to watch.
Can't watch Euphoria. It's too tough.
Well, it's not just that. It's actually it's funny because you always hear about drug addiction from his side, right? And like how difficult it was on him, his body, his life. But thinking of it as a sibling and watching it happen as a sibling was really a tragic experience. And someone recently was, I was doing something at work where they're asking why, like, you are the way you are. And I'm pretty independent. I'm pretty like loner-ish, I guess I would say. And it's because when you have someone in your family who sucks up all of the oxygen on one problem, right? My parents had to give everything they had to keep him alive, right? So there's just such a, I've been reflecting on it a lot to have to grow up with someone who's an addict in the family. And it's really, I don't know why, like recently have come to the realization of just how difficult it was.
We've dealt with it a number of times. I've been on both sides of it as a family member and as the addict themselves. And
yes, you have.
And it's the scope of this problem in this country and the fact that it's never spoken about is mind-blowing because there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of family members in this country right now that are full bore suffering because of what is happening to one of their family members and their inability to get their drug of choice out of their life. And it's terrible. I mean, from a just anxiety and stress and PTSD and trauma standpoint for myself, I mean, it's probably one of the main things that I still haven't been able to come to terms with and really repent for is those 8 years of pain on other people. And we've talked about it on here before, so I'm not going to get into it. But like, yeah, for all those people out there watching this episode who have an addict or an alcoholic or someone in their family that they have to deal with, you're as much of a warrior as that person that escapes that trauma.
Yeah.
It's a terrible place, and honestly, they're so courageous.